Can you guys hear me? Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for coming out. We're going to go ahead and get started because we have a very much full evening tonight with a bunch of kind of different presentations. I want to start off by thanking Square Roots Collective. I see Luke Zubrod from Square Roots Collective, Christina Norland, there may be a few others. So thanking Square Roots Collective for sponsoring tonight's presentation, as well as we are having a Placemakers competition tonight, which you'll see here in a second, and they sponsored that as well. So huge round of applause to Square Roots Collective for making tonight possible. I already forgot to introduce myself, and that's why this slide is here. So my name is Bo Wright. I'm the executive director for what is now Kennett Collaborative, formerly Historic Kennett Square. So we just kind of went through a name change. So we are Kennett Collaborative, and you'll be hearing more about that. And tonight we have, all the way from Detroit, Marcus King, who will be speaking later. Marcus is an architect, an urban designer, and an incremental developer. My guess is you're all here tonight because you want to be a part of and see a beautiful community where everyone can belong. And part of belonging to a community is, being able to afford to live there, being able to afford to participate, and even being able to afford to be involved with the development of that community, to be involved with the buildings and structures that make up a community. And that's a lot of what you'll hear from Marcus tonight as part of his presentation. But we're going to get started with the Placemakers competition. So I will start with that. Unfortunately, one of the presenters for the Placemakers competition was unable to make it tonight. So I'm going to share that. This presentation, or this kind of idea, was presented by James Moore. But a little bit of the Placemakers competition, we put out this idea a few months ago, for kind of calling your best ideas for how to improve the community to these little kind of small changes. There's a $1,000 prize on the line for these ideas to make the idea happen. We actually have and spread the word about this, we have an adult prize, which we'll hear tonight, and we have a youth prize coming up, and you'll be able to see presenters for that at our next speaker series event in January. But let me get started speaking on this first presentation. So the first idea is street trees on the 300 block of Meredith Street. You've all probably seen this. You've all been on the 100 block of Meredith Street. You've seen you've turned off the road. You've seen the beautiful tree-lined street. You've kind of felt the shade. You've probably even been walking there and felt the pleasantness of that atmosphere and kind of the environment that these street trees create. But if you go down just a little bit further than the 100 block, you see this. The 300 block. Similar architecture, similar fill, the street width is the same, but something's lacking, and that is street trees. So this idea is to plant several street trees along one side of the 300 block right here that would provide shade and benefit for those residents. So a few of the benefits of tree-lined streets. A tree-lined street on a hot summer day means the difference between a comfortable walk or bike to work and an unpleasant one. We've kind of all felt that in the middle of June or August. A tree-lined street kind of creates that atmosphere. Property values can be heavily influenced by the presence of street trees. These are just some numbers that different studies have shown. Something like a close to $9,000 increase in the home value from street trees. One study showed that just one street tree can add an average of $12,000, almost $13,000 in value for the properties within 100 feet around it. So they have economic value, these street trees. The street trees are shown to lower the average driving speed, making it safer for both pedestrians and cars to travel down that street. As you kind of create this clustered feel, you're driving down the street, it encourages people to drive slower. And street trees are essential to a city's environmental health. They improve the air quality, decrease the circulation of greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide. They also, reduce some stormwater runoff in all of these. So they have these tangible benefits. Let me just show you two images to kind of stir your imagination of what could be. This is a street from the 1950s with mature street trees. That street today looks like this. Exact same street, very different look and feel. just because of street trees. So this is what this idea promises. Again, not my idea, but James Moore, hopefully I did his idea justice in presenting that. So we're going to have a next presenter. I believe Laura Florence is following me. So Laura, you can come up and share your idea.
I'd be happy to let you do it.
Here's that. Here you can advance
All right.
the slide. Right
This
there.
is advanced?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I have my little notes, so hold on. Can you hear me okay? Okay. All right. All right. Okay. I'm going to give it a try. First, I do want to thank Kennett Collaborative and Square Roots Collective for making this opportunity for all of us to create a better community. So, my project is called Meadowitos, meaning little meadows. And the idea is to really, it's a small idea with a lot of big potential. It really is addressing the idea of fragmentation, both environmental and social. I'm kind of nervous, so sorry. But a meadow is a beautiful thing. It always brings, can you hear me okay? Okay. Okay. It will bring immediate joy to anybody who encounters a meadow. And it also is just a symbol of thriving abundance. So imagine, if you will, just walking around Kennett, and you might encounter one of these little meadows. And you might see a group of school kids bent on investigating that little meadow, looking for ants and bees and butterflies. And they might have little hand lenses and notebooks. And they'll have plenty of enthusiasm because they're discovering a lot of life there. And maybe on another day, you might see a different meadow, and you might see a high school student working on a project, maybe taking data and writing some notes to do some kind of research project on environmental factors in an urban setting. Or maybe you have a favorite young person that you want to take on a walk to see how high those flowers have grown that you saw last week. You might see lots of bees and butterflies, and you might even see a hummingbird. These little meadows are more important because they're also building pollinator pathways, which were a really important part of our environmental health. And this will be a beginning to restore and strengthen our environment. Also, supporting pollinators supports life. Simple as that. And Meadowitos will offer also areas of wonder and opportunities for further education. By selecting suitable plants, these little Meadowitos will be essentially self-sufficient. There'll be very little need for water or ongoing fertilizing, and no intensive training or tending once they're established. They're pretty hardy. We're going to pick plants that are specifically suited for these kind of environments, such as, let's look at this some longer. Big blue stem, little blue stem, Indian grass, and prairie drop seed are some of the grasses that we might incorporate. And then the flowering plants are plentiful. We could use cardinal beard tongue, goldenrod, aster, meadow mint, bee balm, beer balm would be nice too. It's Kennett. Butterfly weed, et cetera, et cetera. So the 4 areas I've located for this project are areas that transect the railroad crossing tracks at 4 different areas. At Center Street, which is just south of Cedar Street, and then again at Union and Broad, which is kind of at the edge of the little train depot park and an apartment complex, and then finally at Walnut Street, if you can envision that, where the Works is, and across from that, Craft Bus Terminal. So all 4 of those areas intersect major streets and have the rail line crossing over. So basically what this project will do, it will transform a barren area into one of abundance. It will take a weedy walkway, I'm clicking too fast, a weedy walkway, and make it a beautiful pathway. It will take a patch of dead soil and create a vibrant garden. The materials are going to be pretty simple. We'll need some black plastic to kill weeds in certain areas. We'll get some perennial sets to establish the gardens, and then we'll supplement them with seeds from the Kennett Library Seed Bank. We will have some signage so that people know what's happening and can get further educated about the project. And we'll probably need some water jugs just to get it started, and then for any kind of drought-tolerant drought events that we might have. The rest is going to come pretty much for free from volunteers and free materials. So these meadowitos, once established, will be beautiful additions to our town, but they also offer a very important potential for growth. They could be expanded across the entire line of the railroad track, transecting kind of the east-west corridor of Kennett. They could also start to incorporate some of the trail systems that we already have, and some people might decide to start converting their yards, their landscaping, to pollinator gardens. Even businesses might start to reconsider how they're landscaping. Another factor is they will create community engagement. I'll do like Bo, I'll just read off the screen. They will create community engagement and be very accessible and attainable to everybody in the community, both physically, financially, emotionally, and culturally. And they will encourage social and environmental connections that can foster caring for our place and attachment to the environment. So I'll leave you with this poem by Emily Dickinson. It's all I have to bring today, this and my heart beside, this and my heart and all the fields, and all the meadow wide. Be sure you count, should I forget, someone the sum could tell, this and my heart and all the bees, while in the clover dwell. Thank you very much.
So, thank you so much, Laura. That was great. The next speaker is Tracy, sharing an idea from the Friends Home residents.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tracy Gable, and hold on. There we go. And I am from the Friends Home in Kennett. And our idea this evening is multi-generational activity space. And I have to tell you, first off, this is not my idea. Those of you may know or may not know that Friends Home in Kennett offers a Montessori methodology to living and to working with the residents, those with dementia and those without. There are many aspects of Montessori learning. I'm sure a lot of you know it as early childhood, and obviously we take it on now into senior care. I could go on for hours about it and how wonderful it is, but that's not why we're here. But I do want to mention a few core principles because it helps in how we came to the multi-generational activity space. Part of Montessori learning is offering options, choice, opinion, and giving our seniors voice. So when my executive director, Christine, said, listen, I have this proposal, we thought, what a great idea to empower our residents. Our residents live in Kennett, obviously. They live on the main street. They're here, and I asked them, I said, what could we do to make, your home better? And I have to tell you, it was a beautiful Montessori experience, to be honest with you. They told me that they feel like they are in Kennett, but they kind of look from the front porch. I know everyone knows about the front porch, but they really feel like they're looking and they're not a part of it. And I said, what do you need to be a part of it? And we had a great discussion. So honestly, if nothing more comes after this, the discussion we had was it was a beautiful discussion. But a lot of them had ideas of getting out into the community. And this gentleman, the idea that I'm presenting is Ed's idea. This is him right up there. I tried to get him to come tonight, but he was a little shy. I asked him what he would like. He said he would love a space outdoors that when his family came to visit, they could be outdoors at a park. And I'm sure all of you know that I say this wrong sometimes, the Anson B. Nixon Park is a beautiful space. There's play areas. And a lot of times when you see a play area, there may be a picnic bench or even a pagoda or a bench, but there's no comfortable seating for a senior. So this is how the idea came about. And I am here today to be the voice of the resident. I put this quote in here because I love it. The best classroom in the world is that at the feet of an elderly person. And it's just true in all that we do. So, what is a multi-generational activity space? It's an outdoor space where older members of the community can gather comfortably with younger members of their families with friends. The senior area would have more accommodating seating as well as tables for chess, checkers, and to be next to the youth. And that's the key with all this. The space, I would love the space to be right next to the playground. So it is one whole space and not two separate areas. The target audience is seniors, children, and families. Everyone in the community would benefit from this project, and this is what I loved about it. There's no one particular group. So the vision, why a multi-generational activity space? The best way I can put this is, if you think of it as a Saturday afternoon, families are there, the children are playing on the space, and the seniors are there as well. You know, like I said, our seniors could have somewhere to go, somewhere to meet their extended family. Families could gather there, but also seniors could socialize with other seniors. I think that is lacking, and I think COVID honestly has taken that away and isolated a lot of people, but particularly seniors. And to give them an opportunity to meet outdoors would be priceless. The feeling is community, family, and equity for all members of Kennett Square. I feel like they need a voice, so hopefully I'm here to be their voice. Funding. So we talked about this at length, and I have to tell you what they thought they could spend $1,000 on. Not so much. But so we had a more realistic plan. $500 would be allocated for the appropriate seating. Believe it or not, and I didn't know this, I'm sure Christine you did, but that there are specific outdoor chairs for seniors. So they have more of a lumbar support. They're up, like, think about an Adirondack chair that is impossible for anybody to get out of. We don't, like anybody. We don't want to see that happen. So there are specific chairs for this and tables, which would be the $150 for the tables. And also $260 would be allocated for the domino stepping stones. And I really want to touch on this, because you might think, why would you spend that amount of money if you only have $1,000? The stepping stones are going to be key to the project. They're going to be what links the younger person's playset to the senior living space. It is a visual, it's symbolic, and it helps bring the community together, for sure. I think that given this point in time where we are in life, I think we all could use unity, and we all could use community, and I think this could help. I also think this is a project that could be built on slowly and steadily. Going forward, I would love, and I looked at this is on my wish list. I'm sure you've seen them in New York, Philadelphia, the cement chess tables, the big life-size chess boards. It would be phenomenal if we could just have this and slowly add to it. So I thank you all very much for your time and for giving the opportunity to do this, and I hope that you do hear our seniors' voices.
And Laura, if you can come up here real quick, and then I don't know if you have your color. You don't have your color. We'll call it out. So everyone that came in, first off, Tracy, thank you so much. All of these ideas were great, and we're excited to present them. Now we have the opportunity to vote, so you guys can come over to vote on your favorite idea. So everyone here has the opportunity to cast a vote. We're going to count them up, and at the end of the night, we'll choose a winner. So how are you going to vote? Everyone that came in should have received 3 tickets. There are 3 different colors. There's a green, there's a white, and there's an orange. So we're trying to kind of represent the idea. So the white idea, or the white sheet of paper, the white piece of paper that you have will be for the street trees on the 300 block of Meredith. Tracy's idea, you would cast a yellow ticket, orange ticket, thank you. And then for the Meadowitos, you would cast the green one. So we are in a church, and so we're gonna honor this as a church. We actually have, he doesn't get to do this on a regular basis. The pastor usually stands up here when the offering is taken, so he gets to walk around with the offering plate. So we're gonna pass the offering plate, cast your vote in the offering plate, and we'll announce the winner at the end. So let people go ahead. And again, white, orange, and green. Just one vote. You have one vote. I think you guys are good. Yeah, we'll figure it out at the end.
We can do it all eventually. Yeah.
And one note I forgot to mention at the start, for those of you here in the audience, we have Hector Nunez translating in the back. So if you hear a guy kind of muttering in the back, he asked me to tell you he's not crazy. He's back there translating. This is available in real time in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking residents.